Here we have a much longer version of Norman's walk to school. As you can see, a lot of the shots are actually still in the movie, probably in a different order. This was some stuff that I did right at the beginning, actually. When I first found out that the movie had the go-ahead, I took the script, went back to my office and just started thumbnailing it out. And a lot of it did actually end up in the movie. A lot of this sequence was done by a storyboard artist called Michael Schlingman, who he did a fantastic job of finding the right shape to it. And already I think you can see our approach was to get this little window on the world, very much influenced by William Eggleston and
Miyazaki even. Yeah, I mean, you've talked about that, like how, he takes time to just shoot bits of the world. And
yeah, it's those moments that would normally be cut out of a movie because they take too much time, but time is exactly what we wanted to spend on this. I was thinking actually of the live action movie that we looked at.
Oh, George Washington by
yeah.
David Gordon Green. It was a great reference.
There was some nice mise en scène in this. I mean, I particularly liked the witch pinata because it basically summed up, the town's take on the witch was basically just to beat the crap out of her. And here we have. Again, a lot of it survived. It's Norman. This shot, we always imagined it would play out like this. I think. I think there's maybe a few too many ghosts in this walk. I think that's the one thing that I get from watching this again is, yes, we wanted to take our time and we wanted to see the world, but this is a little self-indulgent.
Yeah, and kind of dull in a way. I love that postman, by the way. But also, we cut this more. And I thought it was great. In the end, we end up with one long, elegant shot rather than those cuts.
Yeah.
So that's just nicer filmmaking.
Well, there's some nice ideas here. Again, in keeping with the kind of the grottier side of a small town with the sewage spilling into the river. This bridge, we all love the design of this bridge, and we actually moved towards making it. I know a lot of people in the art department who spend a lot of time thinking it up, but none of it was really necessary.
Yeah, and then so we did. We saved a bit of money there for the production.
Here's another example. This side street, there was a lovely design, I think, by Pete Oswald for it, and we managed to keep everything that these shots, as Spore did tell us, we did tell, but we just did it in a much more elegant and succinct way, I think.
It's all about making it flow, wasn't it? In the end, it's like a piece of music, and then the whole thing flows all the way to the score, and like probably less mini moments. Like we realised we didn't need to keep stopping.
Yeah.
So each one of these things hasn't got a beginning, middle, and end anymore.
Yeah. By the time it gets to here, I got it. Yes, he talks to ghosts. Fine.
Yeah.
Get to school.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Linus. Oh,
he's a lovely character with his cute bottle stuck in his head.
Yeah, I think at first we were also trying to introduce all these different characters that didn't really need an introduction. You see them in a wide shot and amongst more of a hubbub of just general activity, and you get it. They're townspeople. That's all they are. Then we're not trying to tell a story about each one of them.
And you'll get them later as well, don't you? Like Sheriff Hooper's story got kind of shortened again and again, really, because you realise that it was just great meeting her the way we did as the film progressed, rather than having to spend a lot of time.
She's still in the walk to school. She's just very briefly, but it's enough. It tells you.
It's a little hook, isn't it? There she is, and then you know that you'll see her later.
Yeah.
And I guess this is another one of those little sort of economies, really, is just combining Alvin in a later scene rather than putting him in this scene. It's just the sort of thing you do, isn't it? As you go on, you just keep overlapping things.
You'll notice that a lot of this is scratch dialogue, which is when we get people who work in the studio, or in this case, I think we got a couple of kids local kids, to do the voices. We actually had the talented and lovely Lou Romano ended up voicing on Mr. Prendergast and Mitch. Here we're going to see a sequence that became known as the bromance, which was trying to effectively sum up a budding relationship between Neil and Norman. It was played as a musical montage. I think here we are seeing it with just a piece of score, but actually originally we boarded it to a Ween song, which was kind of fun. But it was a series of sight gags that I think in the end feels out of place in our movie. And I think what we were trying to say with it, we were already saying in a much more lyrical way elsewhere.
Yeah, and we'd already seen that Prendergast is on his case, and we've got enough scenes with Prendergast putting pressure on him, so that had been dealt with as well. And then the scene in the garden, this lovely sort of tentative moment between them, was plenty.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like just that early on. It's like I guess we were not, I guess we knew the tone, but we're still like exploring tone a bit here, and so these big sight gag things, Mr. Prendergast pratfalls like here, and in the next scene, it was all like, I guess we know we're making a kid-friendly family movie, animated movie, so I guess we were.
Yeah, I think from my point of view, when I look at this now, there's not much. I think what makes the movie work is that there is a real sense of jeopardy. I think we really try to make our world the real world. So when someone falls over, you imagine they're going to graze their knee. You feel like actions have consequences in the movie as it stands. And I think this sequence never worked for me because we beat Mr. Prendergast up quite a lot, and he's just, he still comes back. It's more Tom and Jerry than live action. Especially this bit at the end when he gets dragged off by a truck.
Yeah.
It's not the right tone.
It's a different movie.
Yeah. We used to have a longer version of the graveyard scene when Norman goes to read the book in the graveyard, where ghosts were running out of the graveyard screaming, "Run for your lives or your deaths, hide, they're coming." And it was a reference to even the ghosts were scared of this supernatural event that was happening. And this scene was basically in order to explain why the ghosts were hiding. And I think for a while it was because, to make such a big deal of the fact that Norman can speak to spirits and then kind of lose them from the movie, it felt like we were not really playing fair. We weren't explaining it. But by explaining it, we slowed everything down, and it seemed clunky and not necessary. I think because there are ghostly elements still in the story, the whole thing is supernatural, and we still, Mr. P's in there, Grandma's in there, Aggie's in there. We do what we need to do with the ghosts. I don't think we need to explain why they disappeared.
Yeah, I think that, and then this only opens up another can of worms, because we have them appear here, and then we're like, well, where are they now then?
Right.
So they had to go at some point. It's better to lose them earlier. Although there was a few things I missed, and I love this line, this notion of fear not dying.
Because it relates to Aggie.
Yeah, because it relates to Aggie, and it's just something really cogent about ghosts. It really speaks to what it's like to be a ghost. Gives it an emotional side.
Yeah, because
that's the only bit I missed really.
Yeah,
that line.
I think what we said was, the assumption is that ghosts remain around because they have unfinished business or because there's something terrible happened. And it was nice to play with this idea that fear might be what keeps them around as well.
Yeah. That was. I thought that was the strongest thing about all that.
But in the end, it's gone.
You took it out and you don't notice it. Yeah, like you don't take it out completely, do you? You park things like that,
right?
And then you just go with it.
When I watch it again now, it makes me cringe.
I like that scene, but I just think it's a can of worms. It was a real can of worms. It's like, what are you going to do with them?
More characters.
More ghosts, yeah.